mini awedi da masese monso mo agye se mo ba ti asemi bi na maka bi amai wa hu ye wa hanyina asem ne tuawa me se mfie kakra atwam na hu se Ghana man nyina ya kan bom through parliament agye ato ye ho se yebetua eto bi aye friend GetFund levy ne ye de abo Ghana bisua ho bra na Ghana ngoma sua ho bra infrastructure student loans science laboratories into tier de be ma Ghana school for no ye be iska ni be eden every year it will 2.5 GetFund levy e wo no ma wo toso me say 2018 ba no say sika ya Ghana for tua no sika ni ye bi free adisua mu ayemfa nkwa adisua ho eno na parliament e share ho mra e de yes ade wi e mo fa act 947 at 947 ni djuma nyina ni say wo enemy yetua yeto se yemfa mo Ghana adisua ho bra no na ama Ministry of Finance kwan se onyi bi mfanye den enye bibi fofora enye Ghana adisua inti mpanyimfo se unya hwe ma wase a ayanke ye money kro no obebusa se na de na dada from 2018 bisi na fedi yakasa mpanyimfo yakasa o yakasa ya tinte sukoko yakasa obi enfie inti mpanyimfo se insu echeto mu a eyihwa emiti na hu Ghana school for mpanyimfo universities universities e Ghana nyina mpanyimfo wa private universities e Ghana ye mpanyimfo wa na ye sra ban se sika na ye se fa mo adisua ho bra no yintimi nyi bi mfa nkoya for free say Ghana schools infrastructure ye lake student loans ye ntua scholarships ye ntua science laboratories na ye hia ade atete Ghana nimdifo ne abenfo no ebi ni ho sesi ameno ka se free SHS enrollment no school for bebre ko school it is campaign ye de bebo ho bra ma me nka bibi sama ye mo nsho o hwe this year out of 4.6 billion na ye beboabo ano aye Ghana taxes e de hwe adisua ho no emu 1.8 billion penny de be ma Ghana adisua that is 39%. Nyankopon poje 10%. But Ghana ban edge 61% in every school for a hadwin. Asefem areho say ye nyina e wo mamu ne ye se Ghana da change na ngomesua so. Na so sika Ghana for ye ma menom ti dwom e tuato e say sika e tuama Ghana ban se on fan hwe omoma wo school mu no. Ghana ban se de bi ode ye bibi foforo. Ene ne yesre Ghana ba yesre o mampanyi na ado danko abufu ado. Yesre parliament. Say parliament at the end of the day you have the country to run. Say heaven be wo ho Ghana parliamentarians mo kwa mo be bu aten Ghana nyakopo be busam say sika na mo jeje say mo de hwe Ghana school for no mo de ye den it won ye wa na ni nyina ni minia
student body no betimi ahwehwe mu ehunu bia say sika na ye a o mo de ye
minia me say act 947 adwuma ye no no at the end of the day that is what act 947 does. It takes the money me ba what I say ye ko inside minia me say pia ba
ye presentation there to parliament we show him to the bench the parliament
as soon as possible to we say on camp GetFund now it's not tomorrow, now it's not anytime, it is today now yeah those of you who are
who say student unions ahodo who say nooks for there we were happy just omo nyina echem say omai no ye was bi a eto bi anke yetwa to kwa de ma education but as a aban edidi mu as a aban edidi mu enti no won ko ene ye parliament emrahye bedwa ahia na afi e be si ewo mu no abusua ye de ba beto dwa amwa hunu na mate nya ekoso ewa anyina me da se mo hwe me din na na se fa hen bobo yedi o machi ne be si bia no the Bible to money. I was trying to almost say security I war entrance on a chair. As I say, I need additional for name or more abandoning group. No, the money put do pay and on the map. I'm on my team call a parliament. Now I'm going to present on petition. And you want no more action come more. No matter any put do a betting you or a woman. I'm on my team. I call inside no one breach protocol. So the security as you see almost can say nipa do representatives a do I won't be you I'm on my team I call parliament no more I call present it or more adhere one kind of more you on back on you and son media for the being test now then security then ya and go for mungita kondie mungita bibia e betimi aha enipa ana say mrahye bedwa no incident na ase yeah, you need to do more macro. If I know now by a cent or more by but they do. And every moment, I'm on my team. I come rush with them for I present your petition on one address. Near here on one. And if you saw our train, you could do the mom coin. I'm on my team. I be saying, I call. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Intermediate ni ne ka ho 10 a ono ne omo ene nam ti so ma yedu. Ti nipa du no. Nipa du no na. We need 10. I'm serious. I'm saying nipa du ene omo ma ho kwan. A omo ye students a omo betimi akọ. Se mo bro nipa du na ya be kire ne wa bro so no. No na minimum criteria omo de be hwe. I say okay, nipa do no. We until we na abro so yen che no. Ana so mo chiro mu nyina na. Afo mo yi ba ko afiri mu. Bare busia National Union students no. Na wo akom ho abu mo kom ra she bedwam no ne mra she medwa no. According to so na. Omo hawa. Omo su se there was a parliamentarian sitting here at Buam. On betting aye. Na sika almost to say was set ya de bo adisua ho bra. Na so I say o mine no ene your finance ministry ni ade o mine say one emfa mo sa bra no mo de bo mo ho bra no on so say it must stop today. There was a CNA. There was a CNA. Intention for her, I was going to have and I'm come home. I'm a petition a buying. I protest a crash, say, Debbie. I dear 1, 2, 3, 4. GetFund sika way. Monfa my hair, Modia, my dear. Yampe, Munyai. Na intimate more additional obra. Obusiaka kana yedu ya parliament na ya hwene abefi mu ababia no mfa nkame mo na mo maso atedodo. So as you can see who say additional for edu no na on the police escort police for ebom ho ban anim achi any change na sabeya omo inside baby a ya hye se ho no se omo efa
I know where you are coming from. I used to be with you, so
We need to make it done.
I used to be with you, so I understand.
Oh, you are telling us.
I'm still with you.
Yes.
Present a petition to your committee, and those leaders, we have the chairman of the committee, the education committee, and the ranking member over here to receive your petition. So without much ado, I'll call on the leader of the delegation to present the petition to the committee.
Thank you very much. First of all, we want to say a very big thank you to the leadership of the committee and the parliament as a whole. And then the police protection unit too has been very good. The delegation you see here is from the National Union of Ghana Students with our partners, Africa Education Watch. We are here primarily because we have serious concerns that we believe that it is right that this house takes key interest and keen attention to it and address it with urgency. I'll take a few minutes and pick synopsis of some parts of the petition before we hand it over to the committee. The National Union of Ghana Students is a democratic, non-partisan and progressive mass movement of students in Ghana and the Ghanaian students abroad with a primary aim of protecting and safeguarding the rights and interests of Ghanaian students. The union represents over 10 million students with all our stakeholders, including Africa Education Watch. Africa Education Watch is a policy think tank that works with government, private sector and civil society to achieve an equitable and accountable education system that assures quality, equal opportunity for all. These two organizations have since 2020 raised serious concerns in the management and running of the Ghana Education Trust Fund. I'll take my time to run through some of our concerns in data. Our concerns primarily stems out of the declining funding for education, which emanates from GetFund. In 2017, this House enacted Act 947, which has become more of an enemy to the progress of students. And we won't mince words with this. Act 947, especially for the GetFund part, is an enemy for the progress of education in Ghana. In 2019, a total of 1.8 billion Ghana cedis was to be accrued to GetFund. Out of that, only 66% was allocated to GetFund, representing 1.2 billion. In 2020, out of a 2 billion accrual, only 1.2 billion was allocated, representing a 60%. In 2021, out of 2.3 billion accruals, only 1.4 billion was allocated, again another 60%. In 2020, 81% out of 3.2 was allocated. Initially, we had smiled, hoping that 81 is an improvement on it, but now it was reviewed to 56% in that same year. That was 2022. In 2023, then our biggest problem reared its ugly head. Now we realize that it is no longer a boardroom discussion again. It is a matter of a deliberate attempt to deprive the students of this country the requisite funding that is needed to run an educational sector. Out of 4.6 billion that is supposed to be accrued to GetFund, only 1.8 billion, representing 39%. The students of this country query in shock. Even God takes 10%. Simple. So some of our challenges that have come up with infrastructure, with high rise in fees, lack of funds for student loan, and every day you hear the students of this country complaining about non-payment from student loan, comes from the fact that the necessary funds that's supposed to be released from GetFund to some of these agencies is not going. Standing before this house, we are aware that the formula has been presented to you for discussion, or will be presented to you for discussion. Honorable Chair and your committee, you stand at a crossroad where the fate of our young students lies in your hands. First thing, reject the formula without any equivocation. We can only have a comfortable discussion about the future of education when the funds that is meant for education is guaranteed by this house. And that is why this house was put up to protect Ghanaians. Our call is simple. One, reject the 2023 proposed formula for disbursing GetFund. Move strictly to, in collaboration with the Finance Committee, initiate steps to immediately uncap GetFund. And that is where the crux of the matter is, Mr. Chairman. Uncapping GetFund is a communal labor. It's a right way to go proceed to defend the education of this country. Yourself and your committee have on several instances said that the future of this country lies greatly in education. Education cannot be quality, accessible, and equitable when it has no funding. And some years back, when this House moved to enact the GetFund Act, the students of this country, whose leadership stand behind me today, were convinced that it was going to be used for education. And for that matter, the National Union of Ghana Students with our blocks and all our partners supported the enactment of the GetFund levy. And today, we've moved from 100% to 39%. Mr. Chairman, if your committee does not take this as an urgent requirement, we will get to 1%.
Zero.
And one day, people of this country will pay monies, funds, levies, 2.5% every single commodity, and it won't be used for education. So if you see us standing before you, in all humility, Mr. Chairman, the students of this country have their hopes on you. So many times you've intervened with your committee to defend the rights of students. Today, we are here with just two requests. Reject the GetFund formula and quickly initiate steps that would uncap GetFund. Once again, we are grateful, and on behalf of the over 10 million students of this country from crèche to the PhD level, we present this petition to you and your committee with the expectation that with a lot of urgency, immediately you would act on it as you've always acted on educational issues. God bless you, God bless our homeland Ghana, and long live the Parliament of Ghana. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so we'll quickly take a response from the chairman and perhaps from the ranking member.
SRC President. Thank you very much. Nooks President, thank you very much for today's ceremony. You informed us, and we told you we'll be there for you, and we will collect your grievance and make sure that it is delivered to the right place and right actions taken to make sure that the GetFund is uncapped, if from nowhere, from Parliament. And we know if it comes from here, it will be effective. The way and manner you even came has humbled me. It depicts your status is not by chance, and that you are here to use the law to act. If it were not in some years back, you have made it possible today. We are grateful. GetFund is the only dedicated fund that has been earmarked for the development of education in our country, capping it to the extent of giving it about 17.5% in recent act. I think it's not the right thing. Education is expensive, very, very expensive. But if you try violence and ignorance of the youth, in later years it will cost you harmfully and more than if you had used the money to educate your youth. We will do everything possible within our means to make sure that GetFund and earmarked fund like GetFund is used for the education of our country and the youth of our future. We have to give you a vista of hope and inspiration. That means you can take up from us when we are no more. We aren't be here forever. You are taken up from us. And if you aren't educated well, then it means we aren't going to have a good economy and a good nation. Thank you for presenting your grievance. We will act upon it. Thank you.
Okay, quickly, ranking officials say a word.
I want to add that we are happy with your presentation this morning. We want to assure you that the committee will take all steps that are needed or necessary to make sure that GetFund is decapped. I can inform you that Chairman and myself and the committee, we have already taken the step. On the 29th of November last year, we presented a bill which we call a private members bill to Ecap GetFund. And it is now before the finance committee. We are putting pressure on them to look at it and make recommendations to the House. I am sure your presence here will give indication to the finance committee that we need to do something about it as quickly as possible. And when that is done, be assured that this committee will be there for you as we have been all times. Thank you for coming.
We would also like to thank African Watch for what they are doing for the development of education in this country. Backing them alone is a big thumbs up. Kofi, we are with you. Thank you very much.
So Penny Kofi Asare, our North Africa Education Watch channel, and Pennyfua if Parliament, on that committee a share edition so no Bonabasono. Na yenti na no disem kakra ne how pa.
This was education no. See a finance minister. I'm round the Parliament for the second time. I'm training a GetFund. So you share taxes in and could do GetFund levy only 20% per. And order my so I'm running for a capping law. So capping law no. You try buying as so in also for about 3 times. Say a good education. It sounds GetFund in your car. As can I say the pussy school down as a finance minister be able to me says can be 80%. And acquire for Ferrari. Just about time to GetFund and Yambi. Yes, Parliament say this year the formula now GetFund from the Parliament, you know, the Baneshika or Mubongo. Now more say finance minister only GetFund in free capped earmark funds now only GetFund in free no for education seeker and medication. They call you crossing now. They won't say they will be as a bit of from Musia. They need now GetFund a capping and so come because Anka Ankape and you GetFund no do one in free Anka at the Fufra. Anka Bianca Ministry of Education, a bit when it's Bibre, EDS squad and Bibre. To school tests will be near there, and it's a Minister of Finance. GetFund no, I'm for security. This year no, you expect about 4.7 billion cedis to accrue to the GetFund levy. On first second now come GetFund, don't find you in person there, and one yes meet
Topeni or that Africa Education Watch and Yura Kofi Asare and Yenatran Common. Mr. What say I will follow up and be a busy Wahabiano, Efa Nooks. Omo picketing on Peketiwo, Parliament House of Ghana, and say Omo handy over Omo petition ama Penifue Education Committee Education so ewo my Ghana ewo Emrashibedwam na Omo be presenting ntino sisi ane de Penifue ajatum say a decision a school for a take no a decision pa fi say Kobane say yes e twa foto ato say e be 10 cedis ene ye de atomu a ye de bo o man adisua ho bra na e be sen ena mo be mo be 1 cedi 20% say mo nye no na mo fa nkoye na nkae ne de ye de koye ya de ehia ye no emwa ema education e adisua ensem enkoso yie e wo man Ghana mu ntino eno na be hia say won beba na won ni mpedifo e be hwehwe nkomo na o mo hu se da bi ade a ye enkoyi entino e wo se yetu ho anamo na timi aboa amagana ye daache se ye ka se ye mofra ene ye daache empanyifo no etimi abamu saa enti edumbesi anu adam ase na the picketing was successful, it was peaceful, and I can boldly tell say the results as expected. Edumbesi anu adam ase amedini ene nana sifa ni bobo ebusi antimedi mo si amedini nana sifa ni bobo for Mr. No Sameje oso na aban Ghana ha ye mrashe bebefie ena ye piafia ye ni looks for to aso enti Mekaio say Unua Christian atwatwa sam na yie no ochena fie 17th of March was state banquet for enim ha state house state barrier enti hu say nhihye ebuso a ekoso a canopies ni na no omo raise nkonwa omo be sha ase ahihye na nyame ya adom ochena no bibia akos bi do sia no mado ase abdin na nasifa nkogu mesro se nen dedi kan afi en wa ba ha na wa subscribe na wa share video yi amami am ye hu se Ghana ya education no se emabun ni bi do makoma so se umbetu mu na mu bi mo sia e be se share in this video no macra